25 years after their first album, Suede's frontman, Brett Anderson, delivers his memoir, Coal Black Mornings, Little Brown, 17 Pounds, a confessional close-up on his childhood in Arty poverty in Haywards Heath, followed by messy years living in freezing, flea-ridden rented flats in Finsbury Park and pre-gentrification, Notting Hill, before anyone knew or really cared. And what a rich, sad and honest tale it tells. There is of course the famous love affair with the public school girl muse Justine Frischmann of Elastica, who Anderson met while he was studying town planning at University College London. She was an architecture student and very removed from his life experience up to that point. He notes that as well as her beauty she possessed what I thought at first was a speech impediment, besides dishing on Britpop's most famous love triangle. Frischmann left Anderson for Blur's Damon Albarn. Coal Black Mornings is less a portrait of the Hellraiser as a young man than a book about his family. There's his difficult relationship with his father, a collection of fascinating people, whose foibles included acquiring full Arabic robes in homage to Tay Lawrence and parading around his council house dressed like Peter O'Toole's double cast adrift in some bitterly ironic parallel universe. The formative event in Anderson's early life was the sudden death of his mother when he was still a teenager, and he pays a moving tribute to the unusual education and influence she provided. As almost everything at home was homemade, the idea of making one's own songs didn't really seem like a stretch. Coal Black Mornings wisely stops at the point where Suede got their big break, but Anderson doesn't hold back in his reflections on what became the Britpop moment, railing against the way his songwriting was dismissed as social tourism. Given the levels of real, cynical, social tourism during that decade, when groups of patronizing middle-class boys were making money by aping accents and culture of the working classes, the irony would be exquisite. Safe to say none of that crowd will have a memoir to write like his. This month's other must-read memoir, The Line Becomes a River, Bodley Head, 15 Pounds, is by third-generation Mexican-American Francisco Cantu. While new journalism taught writers to immerse themselves in their subject matter, Cantu's background makes most of its proponents look dilettantish. In his early 20s, he'd had no plans to become a writer and thought his future lay in law or international relations, subjects he wanted to understand from the inside. So, between 2008 and 2012, he worked as a border patrol agent in the deserts of Arizona, New Mexico and Texas, hands-on in the messy day-to-day repatriation of migrants trying to cross the border illegally. There's enough workaday detail on the cartels, coyotes, people traffickers, and ritual violence to make Breaking Bad seem lighthearted, but Cantu's skill as a writer proves an equal match for his material. A digestible account of U.S. and Mexico relations, a nuanced portrait of Mexican cultural blessings and ills. The Line Becomes a River is a page-turning personal story that holds until the final page and wrenches long after. Like this? Read more. 65 of the best books to read for men. Music is great for your mental health.